get started.
Okay, so yeah, thank you everybody for coming. Um, and if you know me, you know me. Um, I I really value holistic health, and so I mean I think all of you know that mind, body, spirit, soul, all of that, and really like how that all connects together. It's very fascinating to me, and been through my own healing journey in many ways, and emotionally and spiritually and physically too, and still on that journey. I think as we can be, but yeah. So Dana actually introduced me to the Juice Plus, and it just really aligned with how I feel about my body. I trust my body. I want to support my body. And just having this come into my life, this way to get all these amazing nutrients so easily, I was like, well, yeah, why wouldn't I do that? And I admit I started off slowly and just was like, well, I'll try it. We'll see. But especially with David, as you know him, he doesn't like fruit. So he'll eat vegetables but not fruit. I don't know. And so having this, I really felt like talking to him about it and just being like, hey, would you be willing to try this? He was open to it. So that made me feel good too, just knowing like, okay, well, he's not going to eat fruit, but hey, he'll take this. And that's going to get some more nutrition in his body. So it just made sense to me to start this, just like I said, something so simple that has so many benefits. And then there's also all this data, science backed, and all that. And I love to dig into some data. So Shannon's nodding because I'm a nerd at work. Yeah. I'm like, give me an Excel sheet. I'm going to make some charts. But anyway, so, and the other thing to me, what I can say about this, about these capsules is that I can tell I haven't had any like crazy, like, oh my gosh, I had this terrible disease and now I'm healed of it or anything. But I know some people have some really great, like amazing testimonials. But for me, it just feels really good to my body. So every time I go to take it, I can just tell my body's like, yes, give that to me. It's like, it makes me think of like, if you've ever craved a salad or something, you're like, all I want is like a ginormous salad. And then you get it and you're like, this is amazing. This is so good. And that's how I feel when I'm taking them. I'm just like, this feels so good to my body. And I feel like my body's like, yay, thank you. So that's kind of how, what's really been the biggest thing to me, because I do, listen to my body and try to see what my body needs and feed myself those things. So just knowing that this is something that my body really likes and makes me feel good is really my biggest thing right now. So yeah.
Oh, thank you so much, Miriam, for sharing. And I just love hearing that. And I think, I love how you said that you're on a journey and that all those areas are connected, the emotional, the physical, the spiritual. And I think what you shared, like what we give our bodies is what we crave. And I think that's the same with our thought life, right? When we're, thinking negative thoughts, then that's what we begin to just kind of double down on. But when we can replace that and we start thinking differently, different things happen. It's the same with food. It's the same with what we give our body. Our cells literally become programmed by what we're eating. So Juice Plus definitely plays a role in that. I am going to go ahead and share my screen, and we're going to go ahead and get started with our PowerPoint tonight. And I am so excited. I love sharing this every single time I do. So, myself and Dana and Miriam are part of a community, a group of people that are really trying to take health back and provide just a simple way to do that and to do it in community, which, everything is just more fun when we do it together. So, tonight we're going to start with a little education, where we're at, and move into our solution. And then, like I said, a couple of stories. So, we have to start where we're at, which isn't the best news, but you look around and I know you can just identify with what I'm going to share here. We are unhealthy. America is one of the most unhealthy countries there is. 1 in 4 people will die of heart disease. 1 in 2 women, 1 in 3 men will develop cancer. 1 in 3 will have diabetes, and 1 in 5 children are obese. And I like to share, I'm 46 years old, and I think about my mom when she was 46, so just one generation ago. You guys, she didn't know one person with cancer. that was her age, maybe an older person, but nobody her age. She had never heard the word autoimmune, and diabetes was something very rare as well. So, in just one generation, we have shifted completely, and we think this is normal. It may be common, but it is not normal, but it is where we're at. And there's a couple of main reasons why we are where we are. The first one is that environmental toxins are increasing. So everywhere we look, whether it's the air that we are breathing, if it's the water that we're drinking that is filled with chemicals, if it's the runoff from different, commercial fertilizers, all those things, landfills in the ground, we are breathing and putting on our skin, lotions, laundry detergent. We just have a lot of toxins in our environment, more so than any other generation. And our bodies are made to handle a certain level of toxins, and that's what our liver is for. Our liver is working overtime to detox us. But when they're coming at us faster than what we can take care of, this is where we get into a problem. At the same time that environmental toxins are increasing, our food quality is decreasing. So food used to be an asset to us, it used to be helping us, but now, unfortunately, more than 50% of what Americans eat is processed. And processed food is going to have a bunch of the things that you see listed there, none of which are helping in our ability to detoxify. And then when we are eating fresh food, we are eating food that is very depleted. And for a couple of reasons, some of we will talk about a little bit, but one of them is that we are taking things from way far away and shipping them to us. So we aren't necessarily eating things that are local to us. The supermarket is wonderfully convenient, but what it has allowed is produce to come from far away. The average lettuce is shipped to us from 1,500 miles. And because of that, every day it's losing nutrients. It's losing its nutrition. By the time it gets into your refrigerator and sits for, 3, 5, 7 days, it's really not doing much for you. So, what can we do? That's where we're at, but we do not have to be victims. There are things that we can do. Yes, some of what we might fight in life can be, due to DNA, but 90% or more is due to lifestyle, and that is good news. So, we can exercise, we can move our bodies, we can sleep, we can manage stress, we can drink water, we can use safer products, and there are a lot of those out there, and we can eat real food. So tonight, we obviously cannot spend time focusing on all of those. We're going to double down on the eat real food. And within the real food, we're going to focus on fruits and vegetables because that's really where just the key to nutrition is. So this is a little bit of education here. You may or may not have heard the term oxidative stress. And if you have heard it, maybe don't really understand what it is. So a great example of oxidative stress in action would be an apple. When you cut open the apple and it's exposed to oxygen, it immediately starts aging. And you see that when the apple is browning. Now, that isn't as visible on us, but we can see aging on the outside of our bodies as well with wrinkles, age spots. The inside of our body is the same thing is happening. We're rusting on the inside as well. We can't avoid oxidative stress. It happens because we're human. When we breathe, we have oxidative stress. Some things that make oxidative stress more can be good or bad. So we might think about the bad things: excessive drinking, smoking 2 packs a day of cigarettes, lots of sun exposure. Those are things that probably we would say aren't great. We know that, and they're going to stress a body more. But there's some really good things that cause oxidative stress. Exercise actually is a stressful thing on the body, especially if you are not fueling your body well. You're actually aging yourself. So you might be strengthening your heart and lungs, but the other parts of your body, if you are not doing well afterwards with the right kind of food, you're actually aging your body. Pregnancy is a very oxidatively stressed event. I've actually been pregnant 8 times. I have 8 children. So I have lived an oxidatively stressed life. So another reason that I'm so glad for this simple solution. What happens though is that we have antioxidants that we can eat. And where are those found? They're found in plants. And those antioxidants come in and they actually neutralize the free radicals in our body that cause oxidative stress. So I want you to picture free radicals kind of like if you were playing a a pinball, like a pinball game, right? And those little balls are pinging all over the place. That's what free radicals are doing in our body. And they're pinging our cells and trying to do damage. Our cells get 10,000 or more pings a day. Antioxidants, which are found in plants, actually come in and neutralize those free radicals and escort them out of our body. And that's why they are so, so important to us. So this is why Time Magazine, back in 2003, when we were just beginning to discover the power of fruits and vegetables, said that the news isn't that fruits and vegetables are good for you. It's they're so good for you that they could save your life. So we need a lot of them. When I was growing up, the motto of our government was 5 a day. We needed 5 servings of fruits and vegetables a day. It's now up to 7 to 13 servings, and that's just if you're wanting to maintain health. If you are fighting sickness, if you are pregnant, if you're an athlete working out, at a moderate level 3 to 5 times a week, you actually need upwards of 16 to 20 servings, a fist size serving of vegetable. Okay, if you're a child, you need a child's fist size serving. If you're an adult size. That's a lot. And it's hard to get all of that, right? Why is that increasing? Part of that is because produce is picked before it's nutritionally developed. So we already talked about how it's picked and shipped, but here's the other aspect. It's picked early. So who here goes to the grocery store and finds those green bananas that you bring home? If you bring home bananas, they're most likely green. So what I never understood is that when I bring home that banana, sure, I can ripen it on the counter, but it's never going to have the nutritional value it would have had if it had been allowed to ripen on the vine. 85 to 90% of nutrition comes in when that vegetable or fruit is ripe on the vine. When we pick it early, you can ripen it in a paper bag. If it's a peach, that's what I do, or a banana or an avocado, but it's never going to be nutritionally as dense. You guys, that's the majority of what's in our supermarkets today. So also, we're just not getting enough servings. And when we do, we're kind of eating the same thing. We're creatures of habit. So we might eat the same few fruits and the same few vegetables. This is a great picture that really explains what we're up against. The National Institute of Health kind of saves fruits and vegetables through the years. So in 1953, they took a freeze-dried spinach and compared it to 1997 spinach and found that you would have to eat 43 bowls of spinach to equal the 1 bowl in 1953. And that was just iron. Obviously, there's a lot more other nutrients that are also depleted. So this is why, even when we're trying, we're just not able to get what we need. So the 1950s and 1960s, we developed the multivitamin because we could sense that there was a gap and we needed to do something. 70% of Americans are trying to fill a gap with a multivitamin. There are complete stores that are dedicated to multivitamins, shelves and aisles in your other, Target and Walmart. But guess what? The first slide tells us they're not really working. We are only getting sicker. If the multivitamin was the answer, we wouldn't be seeing all the cancer and all the diabetes and the heart disease that we see. So a multivitamin has a few isolated ingredients. They're made in the lab, they're synthetic, and there's 15 to 20, maybe a few more in a really good multivitamin. Unfortunately, though, the research that's been done on multivitamins show that it actually does more harm than good. And you can look that up at the Annals of Internal Medicine. This was a study that was done in 2013 that said the people taking the multivitamins had more comorbidities than the people that did not. So that's not great news. However, whole food, if we look at that apple, when I push this slide up, those are the names of 400 of the phytonutrients, plant chemicals that are inside of that apple. You know what? That's 400. There are 10,000 in that apple. Only 400 of them have been named. We don't even know what the other ones are doing, but we know they're in there and that they're working synergistically together, which is why when you eat an apple, the 4 micrograms of vitamin C in that apple are equal to 1,500 micrograms of an absorbic acid that is synthetic, because your body knows how to use food. It does not know what to do with multivitamins. So, Juice Plus, that's our solution. Juice Plus adds the nutrition of over 30 fruits, vegetables, and berries to your diet. And how do they do it? They take whole foods and they're harvested at the peak of ripeness, which we just talked about is so important. They're going to pulverize it. They're not juicing it. Okay. So this is not juicing. We are putting everything into it. So the pits, the peels, the seeds, which seeds are so powerful. The rinds. Did you know that 80% of your vitamin C in an orange is in the rind? All of that is in your Juice Plus. And then we're dehydrating it at low temperatures so not to take away any of the nutrition. So they're put into these capsules and or delicious chewables. And then we also have an omega, which we'll touch on in a little bit. So here it is, and is it not beautiful to look at all of the array that I get into my body every single day? So we see that apple up there with 10,000 phytonutrients, but every single one of these plants has a different phytonutrient profile, and they're all working together to, I like to look at it as they're filling the pantry, if you will, the proverbial pantry in your body, so that when your body goes to the pantry to make the recipe for health that your body knows how to make, it isn't shortchanged. The pantry is full. What we're seeing today is our pantries that are wiped, they're wiped empty. There's nothing there. And the body then begins to have to take shortcuts, and those shortcuts show up in dis-ease in our bodies. So we also have our omegas, which I talked about. This is something else that we need. We cannot make our own, so we have to get them from food. So Juice Plus, rather than go to fish, which is what your typical fish oil would be, which a lot of people are getting their omegas from fish oil, we've cut out the fish. The fish actually don't have omegas inherent to them. They also go to the plant. They go to algae. So we bypass the fish because the fish are toxic and it's not sustainable. It takes 4 to 5 pounds of fish for 1 ounce of oil. Okay, so we don't do the fish, so you don't have fish burps, which you do have when you take fish oil. We have the algae oil and then 5 other oils, plant oils, that make a full spectrum omega. So not just omega-3, but omega-3 and 5 and 6 and 7 and 9. And these are great for your heart, brain, joint, skin, and eyes. They are cold pressed, so they're not heated, which is very unique in this space. Most of the other brands have to heat their omega, therefore damaging the oil when they do that. And then we have our Juice Plus Complete Shakes. My family loves these. My kids love them. We don't do them actually as shakes as often as we make puddings out of them. So we just do a little less liquid. We stir it up and it makes like a chocolate pudding or a vanilla pudding. And then we pile on all kinds of goodies, fresh fruit or frozen berries, nuts, and we just make a bowl of goodness, honestly. And it tastes so good. It tastes like I'm having chocolate pudding, but it's full of all these plants, another 15 plants. So when you take the whole Juice Plus product line, you get 50 plants into your body every single day. So on the days where I'm feeling like I didn't accomplish much, I remember that I got 50 plants in my body and I feel better. So these are really, really wonderful. They come in chocolate and vanilla. So what makes Juice Plus unique? I love this slide, and it is super important because Juice Plus it's the only thing like it in this space. It is food, it is not a vitamin. So if you have supplements in your home, which probably most of us do, we're all trying to do better. If you look on the back of it, you're going to see a supplement label. But here at Juice Plus, what do you see? You see a nutrition label, the same thing that would be on the bag of carrots or the bag of spinach that's in your refrigerator, because it's food. And I do not know another supplement out there that has a food label. They may have some food powders in them, but they're not just food. They have a lot of isolated things added as well. So there's no additives, as we talked about. It's made with non-GMO ingredients, vegan, kosher, and dairy-free. Secondly, it's NSF certified. I never realized how important this was, but NSF is a third-party organization that comes in and tests every batch of Juice Plus more than once to make sure that what we say is in it is, and nothing else is present, such as herbicides, pesticides, molds, any of those things that you don't want in your product. We can verify that they are not there. Unfortunately, the supplement industry is a very unregulated industry. Less than 2% of supplement companies have any kind of certification. So you really have no idea where they're sourcing their products from. A lot of people are trading whole food powders on the world market. They're coming from China, they're coming from other countries that do not have the same standards that we have. So that NSF certification is huge. I like to say it's beyond organic. People will ask if Juice Plus is organic. It is not. And actually, that's a really good thing, because organic label actually means that they still can spray. There's over 200 things they can still spray on your produce. It's just that they spray them at a lesser amount. So with Juice Plus, there is absolutely nothing sprayed, which is peace of mind for me. And then finally, it's the most researched nutritional product in the world. It has over 40 clinical studies done. And these are not just any old study. They're not done in a Juice Plus basement. They're done at universities and hospitals around the world. They are gold standard, we call them. So they're done on humans with blood drawn, placebo controlled. And you can see the list of universities that have used Juice Plus product to do research. And what have they found? They have found a whole bunch of wonderful things that contributes to cardiovascular wellness within 28 days. It reduces the arterial constriction in our bodies. So this is wonderful for the heart disease statistic that we saw earlier. Supports a healthy inflammatory response. Inflammation and oxidative stress are two of the three pillars of disease. So if we can knock out inflammation, and then you see on the other side here, it reduces oxidative stress by 75%. If you can knock out oxidative stress, you are doing well for your body. Supports healthy cholesterol within 8 weeks, lowers cholesterol. I'm trying to remember the exact points, but I have that research study if anybody wanted to read it. You can read all of these research studies on our website. Supports healthy lung function. I'll talk about that in a little bit. When my son had asthma, we definitely experienced this firsthand. Healthy skin and gums, supports the immune system, helps maintain healthy DNA. And we talked about this. 90% of these chronic diseases are preventable. And Juice Plus showed that within 8 weeks, it was turning on good genes and turning off bad genes, just basically changing your DNA just by what you eat. And finally, I think probably the most important thing, we have 19 studies that show that it's absorbed by the body. We don't know if multivitamins are absorbed by the body. We don't, but with Juice Plus, we know that within minutes of you taking it, it is in your bloodstream, which is amazing. So Dr. Richard Dubois was one of the first of now over 8,000 medical professionals to share Juice Plus with his patients. And he says this: there is nothing available any place in the world with or without prescription that has been clinically proven to do what Juice Plus has been proven to do, which I love. And then we have our Children's Healthy Start, or Family Healthy Start program, which allows children from the ages of 4 to 18 or a full-time college student in a 4-year program to take Juice Plus for free when an adult is participating. This is how we started on Juice Plus with all of my kids. And just so many good things. There have been over 1 million children that have gone through this program. And I love it because our company has such a heart that they want families to get healthy. And that's how they help offset costs for families, by allowing kids to take it for free. And then finally, our tower garden. I have 2 of these, and we already have ours growing. We have a bunch of lettuces already growing, and they're amazing. All I have to say is that you do not have to contend with weeds. Need I say more? I have been a gardener for years, and I always have high hopes because I get those little plants in the ground and I don't see the weeds, and then all of a sudden there's more weeds and less plants, and I'm frustrated and hot, and I'm just kind of all done. But that has not been the case with the tower garden. It's truly a delight to grow on. So we could tell you more about that too. We have ones that can be grown inside that are a little slimmer, and then outside, which handles our bigger plants. And then this is just kind of a last minute little tip here. A lot of us have, throughout the years tried to lose weight or dieted. We have a culture that is about dieting or over exercising. Just look around. I mean, you name it, people are trying to do it, right? In the exercise world. But what we end up having is still toxic people. So you see the person on the far left there on the top, those little dots are the toxins that are in all of our bodies because of all the things we said, all the things that were coming at us. We are toxic. When we burn fat, the toxins have nowhere to go because the toxins are enrobed by our fat cells. That's where our body stores toxins. And it does that because it doesn't want them near our organs. So it stores them in fat, a lot of times around our belly. If you're a woman, hips and butt, you're going to find those. That's where you're going to gather fat, but really it's toxins. So when we go ahead and diet or reduce our calories or over exercise, we may lose something initially, but our body is still toxic. In the moment we stop exercising or go back to eating a more normal caloric intake, our body grabs everything right back because it needs it. It needs to keep us healthy. And to do that, it needs fat versus cleansing. Every single day, a gentle detox. And that's actually what Juice Plus is. It's all those antioxidants getting into your body and allowing the toxins to hitch a ride out. gently. This isn't some crazy, like, big detox. This is a gentle thing you can do every day to help your body to overcome the toxic load. And what, not that Juice Plus is a weight loss product, because it isn't, but a lot of times people do have weight loss on it because they're becoming less toxic, and the body naturally will shed that extra fat because it just doesn't need it anymore. So it's not about being skinny, it's about being healthy. So another great part about Juice Plus, it is really affordable. When I think about how much it would cost me to go to the store and buy Beyond Organic, well, I couldn't actually go to the store. I'd have to go to the farmer's market and find a farmer who wasn't spraying things and buy their produce to get what I'm getting with Juice Plus. I could not do that for $2.50 a day. It's incredible to me how economical Juice Plus is. Free for kids. Our shakes are $2.33, which is amazing for a meal replacement. And our omegas are $1 a day. So when I look at a lot of times what people are doing, what habit they have, right? Maybe they pull through the drive-through of a coffee place every day and spend $4 more for their coffee. Well, that isn't really serving them. But I look at Juice Plus as truly my health insurance every day. And you might think, well, health insurance, like that's something else. But really, what we have is sick insurance, right? We have that for when we get sick. This is what I do every day for health insurance, a little bit every day, so that I don't have to use my sick insurance, is kind of how I look at it. So at this point, I'm going to stop sharing my screen and I'm going to throw it to Dana. Dana, if you want to unmute yourself and you go ahead and share your story.
Okay. Hello. I'm so excited for Miriam that she's joined, and it's just fun. Like the community, the Juice Plus community, we have a great time. And so I joined. There's a friend of mine. I go to a chiropractor, and there's two chiropractors at this office that, like, I go to both of them. Sometimes one will adjust me and sometimes the other one adjusts me, but Dr. Brian Wolf, he's he's a great guy. And anyway, I got to get to know his wife, Nikki. And as I was connecting with her, I started learning about Juice Plus. And it really clicked when I found out about getting the fruits and vegetables, such a variety on a daily basis that I couldn't get on my own, like what was already mentioned. And as I started on the duo of the fruit and vegetable capsules, I mean, it's not like right away, like what Miriam said, I didn't experience change right away of anything specific, but I know it's the immune system, and it's helping to strengthen it, and to just for my body to be stronger and healthier. So, but as I added the berries in, we have the berry blend too. And one of the things I learned that can help allergies. And so that was one of the things, like during the fall, I used to deal with more. And I did notice, like Nikki was telling me, whenever I started to feel more allergic reaction she double the dose. It's fine to do that because it's all plants, it's whole food. It's not going to hurt you to take more. So I started doubling up on it more, and my allergies really did lessen. So like I wasn't dealing with as much of that drainage, and I was like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. Um, yeah. So the more and then the more I learned about it, the more I was like, okay, I want to join the team. And I added in there too, but I was like, I might as well get money back on my product and just different things. But I was just also excited about what this can do for people. And so it's just been such a blessing.
Oh, well,
So
Dina, thank you
I'll
for
kick it back over to
sharing.
Julie.
Yes, thank you for
Hmm?
sharing. I,
Oh.
yeah, I'll just wrap it up with real quick with sharing my story as well.
Hmm?
We found Juice Plus 4 years ago when my son was I was dealing with my son who had had several asthma attacks, the fourth one landing him in the pediatric intensive care unit. So it was just getting worse. And I wanted answers. And the answers I was getting from the doctors were two different prescriptions for steroids. And although steroids have their place, they also have a dark side. And I wasn't prepared to put my 4-year-old on steroids. At the same time, I'm not a crazy mom, you know, watching your child turn blue and having to rush them to the ER is enough to like give me nightmares. So I didn't want to mess around either. But I also knew that a prescription was a symptom manager. It was going to manage his symptoms, but it was going to do nothing to get to the root cause. So at that time, I had a friend and a neighbor who shared Juice Plus with me. For a while, I really ignored her, to be all honest. I thought it was just a vitamin. I didn't really understand that it was food. But she said you could get it for free. And I said, okay, well, free is free. So I guess I'll try it. So I tried it with little to no expectation. But I'm here to say that 4 years later, Elijah had never been hospitalized again. He never had to take the steroids, and his asthma just slowly dissipated. The next time was 4 to 6 months later, and it was the first time that it did not blow up that we had to go to the ER. We were able to manage it at home. And every time it happened subsequently, it was less and less. And now it's been over 2 years since he's even had anything. At the same time I was taking it, and I was pregnant with my 8th baby. I never did prenatals because of what I shared with you earlier. I had figured out earlier in my nutritional journey that prenatals really had no research on them, and they never did anything for me except constipate me and change my urine color, which is a big, should be like a light bulb going on, that if it's changing your urine color, that's a sign that your body is excreting it because it has nothing and nowhere to go in your body. Okay. So I figured that out. So I thought, well, I'll take Juice Plus, right? I had struggled with anemia for 30 years, and within 3.5 months, my anemia was gone. And that was huge to me. And at that point, we just decided that we were going to go ahead and take it all of our family. So each of my 8 children is sponsored for free by somebody, a grandma, a grandpa, a family friend, which is wonderful. And my husband and I purchased Juice Plus for ourselves. Some of the other things in the 4 years that we have seen is little things of eczema going away on one of my children, my husband's cholesterol numbers coming down. He had a sinus issue that happened every single year. And within 8 months on Juice Plus, it's gone, never to come back. And finally, my lifelong allergies. So I always had, when I was a girl, we call it hay fever in the fall. And I always had those. And it didn't happen right away on Juice Plus. So I'm, I don't feel like this is magic elixir. We don't dig ourselves into the dis-ease hole overnight, and we don't pull ourselves out of it overnight. But Juice Plus is definitely something that you can begin to kind of fill in the hole with to start lifting you up. So I've been on Juice Plus now for 4 years, and the last 2 years I have not had to take any Zyrtec at all, which is pretty incredible, because I don't know about you, but whose allergies are getting better? Nobody's, right? They're only getting worse. So you guys, thank you so much for listening and just taking some time to hear the stories that we shared in the presentation. I'm going to go ahead and stop the recording.